because of technology, the way we do business, right, with all the technology, the internet, the tools, the data that we're having access. So my thing is, it's using all of this as a good commercial real estate practitioner, understanding it well to serve your client, right, to figure out what you can do to help them solve their complicated problems. Because commercial real estate, is a global business, but sometimes it goes down to the local levels. And how do you work with the best person for the best price to really accomplish your goals and needs?
Welcome to the I Own It podcast with Ben Reinberg.
All right, we are live in Laguna Beach at the Ben Reinberg I Own It studios today. And today is a special day because whenever we bring in a commercial real estate colleague, it's always something I'm very passionate about and love. So Jim Huang, welcome to the show. It's great to see you. Thank you for traveling in the rain here. I know it's a little bit rough the last 24 hours, so thank you for joining us.
Ben, thank you for inviting me. It's a lot of fun, and it was fun talking shop. We could probably talk forever.
Yeah, we sure can.
But, you're right. It's always fun catching up, sharing stories, and really almost talking about, with our colleagues, what is everyone up to, since we always can't see everyone as much as we would like to.
Yeah, I think all of us have matured. We all have gray hair.
Yes.
It's a different world now, too, because when we all started, the internet wasn't as prevalent. Yeah. So you remember sending out discs and books and Argus runs and all the things that we did to learn the business when we were a lot younger. So it's a much different world now. And I think it's exciting. A lot of new technology coming around. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I remember the first fax machine that came in. We thought that was really cool. And when technology using computers more often to put packages and everything, besides the old school flip way, a lot of things have changed during our time in the industry.
Absolutely. Let's start by sharing more context on your background and how did you develop a passion for real estate?
Mm-hmm. Well, Ben, you know what? I actually say I got lucky. Like, sometimes it wasn't a decision. It was really going into medicine and medical first, studying biochemistry, but then going into Wall Street and finance. I actually enjoyed it, but less so the numbers and just crunching numbers all the time, was doing the business development, interacting with the clients, understanding their problems, to get me to a point where I worked under one of the largest TIC syndicators in our country to understand the full gamut, the full picture of commercial real estate, from looking at a property, buying the property, finding it the right opportunities, putting it together, building a portfolio, and then really the hardest part is when you dispose of it. When you exit out of a property, it's easy almost to buy right, position it right, but when do you exit and when do you keep building a portfolio and where? So, it was really exciting to learn from one of the best in the industry to put together a TIC syndicator. But from that experience, I learned to go to one of the best places to learn, and I would say it, Marcus and Millichap. Loved learning from Marcus to a point where I turned into a principal at Marcus because it's just all the cold calling, you find opportunities.
Yeah, there's so many offshoots of Marcus and Millichap. It's a great training ground for young brokers to learn the business, understand it, and then, if they want to stay there or move on to their next life. So you're the president of eXp Commercial now, and it's exciting times. You guys are getting into all different types of things in real estate. Do you believe the real estate brokerage sector is ripe for disruption?
I would always say, watching technology, it is, but commercial brokers, because of the relationships we build, the expertise, the local knowledge, you can't always find it, with data, or everyone says that, the technology. You still need to have people with the trust and relationship, with understanding the local markets and the product type. So less so than residential, because it's not so cookie cutter, and there's other facets of commercial real estate that I think we still have a ways to go before it gets very disruptive, but we do see changes because of technology, the way we do business, right, with all the technology, the internet, the tools, the data that we're having access. So my thing is, it's using all of this as a good commercial real estate practitioner, understanding it well to serve your client, right, to figure out what you can do to help them solve their complicated problems. Because commercial real estate, is a global business, but sometimes it goes down to the local levels. And how do you work with the best person for the best price to really accomplish your goals and needs?
Yeah, having boots on the ground is so critical in our business. It's still a relationship, touching the bricks and mortar, inspecting, looking at properties. That will never change. The internet will not disrupt that side of the business. So, yes, you are the president of eXp Commercial. For eXp Commercial, what's the value proposition differentiator that enables you guys? Because you've had such incredible growth and scaling compared to other companies out there. Especially, I've been in the business for a little under 30 years. I've been watching it for quite some time. What are you doing that's different than everyone else?
Well, Ben, learning from starting my own company after Marcus, watching it grow, and the difficulties with the brick and mortar, the leadership and organizing everyone, to running the next part of my life, a franchise organization, I knew this model of a lower cost, without brick and mortars, but you can use it when you need to. It's always going to be a hybrid matter. And what I liked about eXp is forming a new company. I like forming new companies from scratch because you have less legacy issues, you have less political issues, you have less technology integrations of breaking tech. We know once you set up tech, like all these big firms, it's very tough. And then when you have these different leadership silos that are blocking you, it's very tough. So I've always wanted to set new companies up, starting from the ground up, from scratch, right? Sometimes you don't want to tear down a building. You just rather find the raw land and entitle it and build it up from scratch. It saves you a lot more money. So I saw the perfect ingredients with the success of eXp Realty as the fastest growing residential firm, being private, how they grew up being independent. And from there, I knew building on the backbones and the success of what Realty did, but with the right leadership in commercial, with the right technology would work. And when everyone said, well, you're adding a residential name to commercial, I said, does it matter if we bring all of the best commercial real estate leaders in the industry? It doesn't matter A, B, Z, X, Y, Z, what you call the firm, if you bring in the talent, the knowledge, the connections of the old school with the new school technology and put it together. I think that's why you're seeing some of the success. We had the success in the platform of eXp and the technology, but we're bringing in such good leaders, and it's just 2 short years of growing to about 700, 800 commercial brokers at this time.
It's fantastic, and you hit it right on the head. It's all about relationship. It's a people business. It's not what the name is or your title. A lot of people get caught up on names and titles. At the end of the day, it's the people. Because where you get listings, where you get deals, it's all stems from people and their efforts and all the values that they come to the table that they bring in your company. So you have a global footprint. How does that break down across countries, and how do brokerage models differ outside of the U.S.? I've always wanted to ask you that.
So right now, eXp Commercial is only in the U.S., but our firm, EXPI and eXp Global, we're in 24 different countries. So the advantage is we already are there. So as we methodically start opening up, we're already having discussions using our technology to open up really a global MLS, deal exchange, marketing to bring opportunities. So we already have that. But in the U.S., in 2 short years, growing to about 700 to 800 commercial brokers, is now we're starting to build the full service capabilities. The capital markets, the asset facility management, the valuation, and other corporate services from site location, entitlements, other consultings, looking at the properties to readaptive use has been used around a lot, especially with what's going on in the office. So the first part that we're building is this strong core in the United States, being full service. My whole goal is by the end of this year, taking some baby steps into Canada and Mexico, and then really launching our technology integration into the 24 different countries that we're in, so we can pass opportunities for the capital markets, right? There's money out there. They're all looking for a home. They just don't know how to connect to different market areas. They don't have the intel, the knowledge, as you said, boots on the ground, the local real estate agents, commercial agents, that they can kind of communicate to get some good information. So by putting the technology together, being in 24 different countries, our reach now is there to start doing it, regardless of being called commercial. The investors connecting through technology with the boots on the ground is really giving us that really big competitive advantage.
Is there any political red tape when you go into a country with a commercial operation that you have to get through, or there's certain taxes that you have to deal with? How does it work in certain countries you guys do business with?
Yes, so you always have to be compliant with the country's rules and laws and tax consequences, and obviously investing, right? As we all know, being an accredited investor, how you raise money is so important. So, what we always do is run everything by legal, right? We always say we're not lawyers, run everything by legal, run everything by CPAs and international accountants and other advisors to let us know what is and what can you do in those countries and how can you move money or create opportunities in different countries. So one thing is, because we are in 24 countries, we already have the discussion and knowledge. So it really is just adding a DBA, setting up a corporation on top of what we want to build. But really, the biggest part is studying the market. Is there the velocity? Are there opportunities? What can we do there? Besides you just opening up a country, which to open a country or open a business to open a business is not so important. It's where's the opportunity. But that's why I think what we're building with the platform is to create a way for us to plug in whatever opportunities may come in the next couple of years.
You guys have cutting edge technology. Let's talk about it. I think it's important. What broker technology does EXP offer that's unique? Explain to our audience, and how does it enable brokers to do their job better? I know you have some 3D tools. Share with everyone, what do you do?
Well, Ben, that's a very exciting thing, since EXP was spawned for when COVID hit. Mm-hmm. As we all know, we had to work virtual. We all had to pivot from live meetings to virtual meetings. So within our AREAA platform, which is the metaverse, which we had the metaverse before Facebook, which they changed their names to have it, we were allowed to connect and network and meet in our virtual world. So many times we've offered so many hundreds of hours of training in our virtual worlds and campus. We connected people to talk about different product types and deals. We monitored, different conversations to make sure, we're best serving. So because of this virtual interaction, and I would say one of our largest meetings had 15,000 people in our metaverse. We had that many people interacting, communicating, discussing from around the world. This really gave us that big competitive advantage, as we couldn't work, in the bricks and mortar. We had to find another way to work. Using that technology really helped us educate, train, teach, network, and find opportunities globally with everyone else, especially in the US. We were organizing then into product type specialties, working with our different sponsors, coming into our virtual worlds to listen and network, and also offer solutions and help where a lot of times you can't do it on other social media or other platforms, let's say Zoom or Facebook, because there's all these squares. You just get overwhelmed by looking at the squares. Sometimes wouldn't it be great to see, sometimes the avatars are virtual people walking around. And I always say, if people haven't tried it, they should try to go into our world and metaverse and see the power of getting and building a community with so many thousands of people that can connect, but bringing it down even with two people sitting across a virtual, let's say, table to just have some good conversation, just like the way we're having now.
Oh, I love that. So let's think about 5 to 10 years ahead of us. Do you think more innovation is coming to real estate brokerage, and what do you imagine is going to be the next big innovation in our industry?
Well, the elephant in the room is the ChatGPT AI.
Yeah.
So we've already seen how we're progressing. Everyone keeps saying the Web 2.0 to the Web 3.0, blockchain technology, AI, and also data, right? Before, people would throw away the data, didn't think it was useful. But now data collection and categorization and using that data is so important. But now using AI technology, as it keeps getting smarter and evolving, it actually can figure things out for us, right, as we program and teach it well. But so it is moving into this very unique world where, by putting the right data, which I call the fuel, to the right engines from what we want to create with AI, will help us be a lot more efficient. So we are going to be, in a way, superhuman. It is going to teach fewer of us to be much better, still have to have the relationship. But now when we can analyze, let's say, real estate property, best use case. We always talk about best use, but having the right inputs, the right data, we could spit out, this building could be used for this. This building could possibly be scaled up. Comps are always backwards looking. With AI, we can now possibly look forward. They can crunch so much numbers and technologies, ideas, concepts, data that we couldn't do before. So now, instead of backward facing, I believe what we're going to start seeing in the future is forward facing, predictive, and even concepts with AI. As we play around with it, it could tell us what the potential future, and then we can use the human element and discussions to figure out what could we really do from all this data, and giving us some opinions and foresight into everything.
That's great. So let's talk about BRC for a second. You're also the CEO of BRC, okay, which does commercial real estate brokerage and multifamily property investing. I got that right? What kind of commercial real estate do you, obviously at Alliance we focus on medical properties, that's our niche. What kind of commercial real estate do you focus on, and what kind of size multifamily deals are you doing?
Well, BRC was one of the first companies I formed after Marcus and Millichap, so I did pass that to my partner who runs it now, but we were mostly ex-M&M brokers, a lot of the pedigree brokers. We did focus on multifamily and also retail, which we're very strong of because of certain partners. Through there, we did, the bread and butter kind of deals, the $2 to $5 million. Right now, they're probably all worth $5 to $7 million, right, with appreciation. So we did work on a lot of regional, Southern California, multifamily between, let's say, 2 to 10 deals. But there were some institutional deals that we helped, being on the West Coast from the Pacific Rim, that we helped advise, finding locations for ground-up construction, and finding some turnkey properties. But as we all know, during the challenges now with the moratorium, the rental laws that we have, it's a lot more challenging to run multifamily like it used to be in California. And we have seen a lot of clients have their multifamily to diversify, move out to Arizona, Nevada, and even Texas. We've seen a large, 15 years ago, they were already looking at Texas. But now as things have progressed in the moratorium, more people are looking elsewhere to diversify their product in one area, which they don't want to be caught, with all their eggs in one basket.
And we see that around the country as different moratoriums. And it's what differentiates our product, being a medical office investor and a multifamily investor, is ours is pandemic and recession resilient. We're not as subject to these type of moratoriums because the human body never goes out of style. It's always in need. We all have families and significant others and friends and you name it, and at the end of the day you need medical services. So you're also the president of the Asian Real Estate Association of America, which I know you're very proud of. Share more about this organization and the interesting initiatives you've been leading since taking the top leadership role in this organization.
Yeah. Thank you. AREAA was started back in 2003 by Alan Okamoto, John Huang. I always add Jim Park to the mix, where they wanted to create a organization for Asian Americans here in the U.S. to be a voice, for home ownership, but also real estate and other issues that we're having. As the largest North American Asian organization with over 18,000 members. So with that organization, it's great for the advocacy, community building, really accepting everyone, where many of our leaders is really encompassing everyone to come in, but understand what issues are affecting the Asian American community, how can we collaborate and work with everyone else. But the biggest thing being in California on the West Coast is the collaboration within the other Asian countries, because everyone, when you see Asian, it seems like it's one. But really, it is broken up into over 23, 25 different countries with over 40, 50 dialects. So everyone's speaking different languages. So sometimes we always say we seem like a monolith. We seem like we're one Asian, but it's really over 23 different countries with over 50 different languages. But it is a great organization, which I love very dearly, to fight with, fair housing, working with other diversity groups. It's just very powerful, but also sharing the culture, and we love to, share the culture through food, through drinks, right? There's always different alcoholic beverages, culture, language, and music, and it all is very so I think it is really the spice that really shares a lot more. And I know a lot of Asian foods now have been very popular with everyone, almost mainstream, like pizza and hamburgers now.
Absolutely. So, just like you, I speak to a lot of brokers on a daily basis, nonstop. And the sentiment, real estate deals, the volume is down considerably the past 12 months. And no one's sugarcoating it. We see, and we always lag behind the stock market. All the veterans, we all know that, right? And so, has that impacted the brokerage business? Have you seen a dent in your business? And are there any new strategic initiatives that you're focused on, like we are at Alliance, to adapt to the current market?
Yes, Ben. So one of the things is, because I was back in the last cycle, in 2007 to 2009, when Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers went down, and I go, oh my gosh, what do I do? Because I had the nut. I owned my own firm. I was literally putting hundreds of $1,000s per month, which is what I had to pay for the brick and mortar and the staff. So I learned a little lesson from there. One, being lean and mean, being efficient. But during the change in the market is adopting more ways of people communicating and educating. So we always wanted to do educational platforms, certification, and then tapping into a commercial network. Whether you're at EXP or not, we wanted everyone to start sharing and looking at deals and opportunities. So one thing we started, and we launched a educational platform for commercial real estate. So people can learn, certify, and plug in. The next thing we're doing is building our tech so everyone around the world can look at what deal we have, right? A lot of referrals. Everyone, how many times have we heard, do you know somebody? Do you know somebody? Nobody knows everyone from leasing, transactional business opportunities, let alone all the different financing and other parts of the real estate industry, commercial real estate industry. So what I'm doing now is putting the technology together so everyone can collaborate a lot more during this cycle. But with all this data and information is finding that new opportunity. Is it office? Is it the rent? Is it the malls? Is it some of these big boxes? Is it what we've all seen before? Getting master leases of office buildings that one day we could do something else with it. So with this is really pivoting in so many directions to serve and help our real estate and commercial agents. But I'll tell you the biggest thing, Ben, because the slowdown of deals, more people are looking at our firm, right? Since we've done 2 years under our belt, we have great leaders, we have momentum, being the fastest growing commercial real estate firm. People are now taking a serious look at us to join, because they're like, well, you're growing this fast, you're an 80-20 capping at 20,000, you have all the commercial technology tools, you're partnering with all these large institutions, and the biggest thing, many of your friends are all joining our firm.
Right.
And you can, for your entity of a company you built for a long time, you can keep your identity brokered by EXP Commercial. So you keep your company's name or team, you plug into a lower cost model that is really technology driven, and it integrates all these other opportunities that you can work on, rather than you're the multifamily guy, you're the lease guy. Of course, we know as experts we stay in our lane, but now you're referring business all across the US because we're corporate, not franchised, and publicly traded. So check a box. And now you can work with all these people, and a lot of times many of your friends are already with us. My thing is just working better on marketing. So Ben, I hope this goes out so they go, wow, you do have a lot of our friends from the old school days part of the EXP commercial platform.
I'm sure that will start happening. We all flock together. So the name of the show is I Own It. It's being responsible for every aspect of your life. Was there ever a time in your career, your life, personally or business, where you just didn't own it? You couldn't take responsibility. You just had to work on yourself and say, man, I got to fix this. What was that time in your career, your life? Because business and personal mix, it interrelates.
Ben, I love that conversation where you were saying you constantly work on yourself. You always have mentors. And you know what? That is the biggest challenge, is you. It's not the business, it's not external, it's always you, but a lot of people don't realize that you need to control yourself, your own emotions, your ups and downs to be more stable. And it's okay not to be perfect, not to always be the number one. We always strive to be the best. but it is always okay. And unfortunately, I had to learn it the hard way, where sometimes success made me lazy, made me complacent, made me, arrogant and bad habits the last cycle. And then losing it all, to be honest, made me take a look, but not give up. Because we know friends, right, during the 2007-9 cycle gave up, or worse things that happened to them because they lost money, right? Money doesn't define you, and that's the biggest thing, is to break away from what defines you. Who are you as a person? And to give you that inner strength, that strong resilience, to be always happy and grateful is what I learned. And I will always give a shout out to Ron Macharda from Junto Group. So, I'm always learning from others. Anyone from a new person to an old person, anyone on the streets, you can always listen to their story and learn something. But that was my biggest thing, is when I lost total control, and I was literally thinking of, I wanted an earthquake to hit me and take me out of my misery. I wanted a nuclear bomb to hit me, but I said, I care about people. I don't want other people to be hurt. That I'd rather just die of a heart attack, because I didn't know how to deal with the pain. So I do always tell people to work on you, always being grateful and humble, building that support network around you, true friends that are really those that are really happy when you succeed, but really feel sad and compassionate when you suffer. Because I was very fortunate to have good friends, and I just poured my heart to them, and I shared my suffering, and actually some of them wired me some money to get me through hard times.
That's perfectly said, and the truth is that we battle within ourselves. Your biggest enemy and your competitor is yourself. It's every day, especially in this business. You got to show up, you got to be persistent, you got to do the grind, build your relationships. That's why it's a marathon business, and people don't understand that, because it's building blocks over time. And it's what I love about the business, because we're in the prime of our career, you and I.
Yes.
And it's exciting when you get to that point, because we've worked so hard. I have a saying, you spend the first third of your career on your back, second third on your feet, next third on your stomach. You and I are on our stomachs. Well, everyone forgets about when you're on your back, right? And the sweating and the grinding, and am I going to get this deal done? Can I get the financing? And all the self-talk and the lack of self-love. And what I hope anyone gets out of this is to, if you're younger, to go work on yourself. I have people that work for me, associates that are younger than me, and I see their biggest challenge is they don't understand relationships. And what I mean by that is, they have significant others or boyfriends or girlfriends or whatever, but they're constantly failing in relationships. And what they don't realize is it's here. This is what causes it. And I see it a lot. And so I realized, well, how do I become the best Ben Reinberg? I got to work on myself. I got to be accountable, so it trickles down. So it starts at the top and it bleeds into everyone else. So my advice to anyone out there that's listening, you're in commercial real estate or any business, work on yourself. Look at yourself and say, where are my deficiencies? Where am I struggling? How am I communicating with others? How am I showing up every day to the world? Whether it's to your employees, your family, friends, colleagues. And when you can show up as the best version of yourself, everything else comes up. Like money gets attracted to that, right?
We love this with abundance that we were talking
It's
about, right?
Abundance is a key word. Most people don't understand what that really means. And so every day I'm trying to create abundance in my life. And I encourage anyone to look at that. Create abundance, don't create fear. Don't work off fear. Well, what if this person does this? Or what if this happens in my life? What if you lived in the moment? And then not worry about what's going to happen. And that's how I live my life, is like, what's going on now? I can't worry about tomorrow. Can't worry about tonight. Can't worry about 2 days from now. God forbid, we fall off this earth any moment now.
Yes.
And what I think a lot of people, someone taught me this recently, I'll teach it to you. It was a good lesson. He said, it doesn't matter how successful you are, Ben. It doesn't matter the people you know. If you live every day like it's your last day on earth, what would you do? What would be your behavior? You would take those risks you want to take. You would pull those trigger and get those relationships you want. You would make that extra phone call. You might go visit the grave of one of your loved ones that passed away. What would you do? How would you behave? That's how you should be living every day of your life. because that's where gratitude is and lies. It was really interesting because he said that to me. I spent a lot of money for him to tell me that, which I thought was interesting. But it was one of the best, beautiful things he said to me, because I realized, I said, oh my God, he's right. If I live every day like that and go full out, you know, why wouldn't I have confidence? Why wouldn't I be comfortable? Why am I worried about what anyone else thinks? It's my last day. So, what's the best way to follow you?
Well, you can follow me on LinkedIn under James Huang, Huang, or follow us at EXP Commercial on LinkedIn. That's the best way to reach out, connect. As everyone knows, I love to give back, help out in the commercial real estate world, children, and also different ways to build and help the community, building whatever we can, because we know it's everyone helping locally, even though we can tap in globally. So that's important. So I'm looking forward to everyone following me on LinkedIn, which would help, and I'd love to connect with people like this, Ben. I mean, it's always great to hear from you, learn from you, and be grateful, this friendship and this starting journey.
Yeah,
I'm always so excited.
I'm always grateful, and it's one of my favorite things when a commercial real estate icon comes on the show and we get to talk shop. It just brings the best out of me, so I love it. So thank you so much for coming. We're gonna wrap up with our 3 questions that we ask all our guests. Okay. Normally we have a couch right here, so I said, lay on the couch. How old are you now, by the way? Because you look so young still every time I see you.
53.
Okay, you're my age. That's what I thought. So you're on the couch. Close your eyes. You've been through a lot of experiences. We both know the business extremely well. We know what the moguls look like in the business, okay, so to speak. I said, Jim, lay down, close your eyes. Go back to when you were 16 years old. Now that you know at 53 years old what you've been through, your experiences, your knowledge, what could you share with your 16-year-old self to give advice and improve and make life better? What would you say to yourself?
Don't be afraid. Be brave. It's okay to fail. Keep going. That the grit, the resilience, and life is just starting. Like you said, Ben, we're actually living the best time of our life at 50.
Right.
People think, oh, I'm 20 or I'm younger, I'm invincible, life is over at 20. No.
No.
It's just starting. So I would always tell my younger self, take more of those risks, ask more of those questions, reach out to more people. It's okay to fail, it's okay to get no, but you keep doing that, you will find yourself one day. And you're gonna, I think like us, Ben, we're really happy all the time now, regardless. And it's not like we don't have setbacks, but that's what I would tell my younger self is be a little more brave and courageous and ask and don't be afraid to ask people for help, because you're gonna not live life, and that's the other thing. I wish I would have lived more life experiences. Not buying things, but life experiences.
But I always felt when we were younger in the business, the older guys wouldn't share the knowledge like we do now.
Yes.
I think the Gen Xers, compared to some of the baby boomers, have changed the way the business is. We're more educating, teaching, leading, more empathetic. Mm-hmm. We come from a generation that I think is the best part of our business. When you see the Gen Xers and you interact with them, it seems like we all have similar ways we learn the business, our values, the way we transact, the way we treat each other. It's really interesting when you see that. So really proud and grateful of everyone in our industry. So if it's our last day on earth, God forbid, it's just me and you. Mm-hmm. It's our last meal. What are we eating and drinking together? It's your choice.
I would always say a good steak, potato. I would have my Macallan. I don't drink as much as I used to, but I would have my nice Macallan, looking on the beach, taking a look, soaking in, I would just say the majesty of this world, but being with a friend and partaking in just some delicious meal. But it's really the friendship, the conversation, looking out and just thinking it's okay. We lived a good life.
So a great steak and a Macallan,
yes,
and some potatoes would be great. I'm with you. I love it. So you can see in our studio we have a grand piano, a drum set, and guitars behind me. If you could have any band or musician come into the studio to play a song, they could be living or deceased. It's your choice. who's coming in to play us a song?
Oh,
Could be
that's
anyone.
easy for me. So I'm an 80s child, like we know.
Yeah.
We had the best music, horrible fashion, right?
Yes.
But I love Aha.
Oh,
Take On
okay.
Me.
Wow.
That is my favorite. So every time I hear it, I love it.
Uh-huh.
I think back in the day when we had the tapes,
Yes.
I would play it over and over. I kept on rewinding it. We
Right.
don't have the replay
You
now.
gotta take a pencil and go back.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I would always listen to that, but I just love Aha, Take On Me. But any 80s music is the music of choice for me.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, with the A's, with the girls wearing leggings and halter tops and tube socks and you name it, and that was back when MTV got started,
That's right.
which was like a huge platform where kids. That was really where music got launched. So
Yes.
in video. So thank you so much for joining us. If you're interested in following the Ben Reinberg I Own It show, drop kick that right hand lower button on YouTube and click subscribe. Feel free to click the like button. When you click like, we get more people to share the content with around the world, and they can listen to great episodes like Jim Huang from EXP Commercial. If you're interested in following me, go to benreinberg.com. We're on all the social media platforms, and feel free to go onto my company, alliancecgc.com. We are the leaders in medical office investing. We have a brand new fund called the Alliance Medical Property Fund we just launched. And if you're interested in investing, feel free to go to our website and we can help you learn more about it. And feel free to peruse the content if you're interested in commercial real estate. Jim Huang, thank you so much for coming on. It was good to see you. And best of luck in 2023. And best to you and yours. Thanks again.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you for listening to the I Own It podcast with Ben Reinberg. To hear our past episodes and connect with Ben, visit benreinberg.com.